Alright, we're back again. Episode 4. Okay, this episode really has a lot to do with episode 3. I am going to try to be as non-spoilery as possible, but honestly I might get into a little bit of spoilers because, I don't know, I just have a lot to say about this episode. It is something. I do really like the dynamic that we're getting to see. There's a couple moments between Aang and Iroh that are actually really, really nice to see. The conversation between them is actually really, really nice. I think something that's throwing me off about the series that I don't think I expected it would is the voices of the characters. The voices of the characters is really just throwing me off a little bit. Because Sokka doesn't sound like Sokka, Aang doesn't sound like Aang, Katara doesn't sound like Katara. I get they're new actors and I'm getting used to it, but it is just something to note that is throwing me off a little bit. Danny Pudi as the mechanist. Sorry, Danny Pudi as the mechanist is really, really good. I actually really, really like him. Which, yeah, I think he's not quite as quirky as that character needs to be, but he's still pretty good. King Bumi looks rough. I think the makeup that they did for him just does not work. I know he's a pretty goofy looking character in the original show, so I think it doesn't really translate very well. And Bumi is just kind of, I don't know, he's kind of harsh. He doesn't seem as, I don't know, he's just a little off. Some of the interactions between him and Aang just don't really feel earned. Bumi keeps saying how, like, oh, you just want to goof off, and I've been here the whole 100 years, so you don't understand. But it doesn't really feel like it makes sense because so far the show has just showed us that Aang is a pretty serious character. Whereas I think there's just kind of a difference that you get there where he was meant to be maybe a little goofier, so it just doesn't quite fit how Aang's been behaving versus what Bumi's telling him. It just doesn't really make a ton of sense there. They did add in another thing on top of this, and I think they're just adding too many things into this Omashu episode. They did Secret Tunnel, which, it worked, I guess. It didn't really do a whole lot for them. But oh my god, our badger moles are real scary. God damn. I don't want to give too much away about how they resolve the whole Secret Tunnel thing. It is a bit different. I really didn't love it. I think they should have, I don't know, I think they should have stuck closer to how it originally worked. It seemed a little bit of a reach. Kind of breaks suspension of disbelief a little bit. But, I don't know, it works fairly well, I suppose. There was one thing that really stood out to me is that other characters that interact with Iroh are actually really critical of him and really harsh because of his siege on Ba Sing Se. I think that actually really, really works quite well. It really adds kind of some more dynamic to Iroh that you don't really see. Some characters bring it up, but not really. And you get to see it more from Earth Kingdom character perspective, where they're just really harsh on him, and they know exactly who he is, and they're like, dude, we do not like you. Something that they also did is they brought back, what is it called? Leaves from a Vine? Leaves on a Vine? No. Leaves from the Vine as the background to a score for a pretty emotional scene, and it took me a second to realize, and once I did, I was like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Is it too soon? I don't know, maybe, but it does hit pretty well. It hits pretty hard. But I don't want to say what that's from. What else do we have here? Covered Aang and Iroh, Bumi. Oh yeah, Jet. Jet's whole thing. It just made me laugh because I thought in the moment, oh yeah, Jet deals in absolute, so Jet's a Sith Lord. Yeah, overall, the Aang versus Bumi fight looked a little wonky. I don't know what it was about it. It just looked off. I think it's just Bumi as a character looks a little wrong. But overall, it was a decent episode. Again, they're just kind of throwing a lot in there that doesn't quite do it if you're going to be a purist about it. But I think overall the story they're telling works. Is it something that I love? No, but I can see people that aren't as big of a fans of the original enjoying it. And I think Zuko and Iroh had some good moments in this. Katara and Sokka had some good moments. Overall, it was a good enough episode. I didn't love it. Yeah, But overall, pretty good.